We have an incredibly powerful and very dramatic stationary Uranus going retrograde on the 28th of the month of August 2023 through to January 27th. It's going to be one heck of a ride, guys. Uranus, the god of change, unexpected, sudden events, insights, ahas, downloads, invention, and rebellion, is stationing on a very interesting, difficult star called Capulus. It's a star you're going to find on the charts of extremely controversial and intense public figures, and I'm going to delineate some of those, including, by the way, Donald Trump. This star stationing retrograde on this Uranus, this outer planet stationing retrograde on this star directly at 24 degrees of the sign, 23, 24 degrees of the sign of Taurus, is important. But there's also an asteroid sitting right beside Uranus at 22 Taurus, and her name is Minerva. And as he retrogrades, he's going to be connecting with her as well, bringing her into the picture. Now, I like Minerva, wisdom and knowledge, learning and learning things, all wonderful, all great, even deeper than knowledge, gnosis, what we know within ourselves. However, she's also the goddess of war, the Roman goddess of war. Now, she meant to create civilizing wars, but war is war. So we're going to see what that war story may be as Uranus stations retrograde on an asteroid for war, connected to a star for incredible difficulty, aggression, destruction, and challenges. And it's also going to be connecting as well, this whole story, to a longer picture narrative. And that is that Uranus has only been in the sign of Taurus now since 2018. He'll leave in 2025 for some of the year, and then he's gone in 26. So that you have to contextualize Uranus in Taurus, right? We last saw him there during the Dust Bowl era and the Great Depression. He disrupts weather. And this star, Capulus, is about meteorological phenomena. It's often associated with big events in our weather. So we're going to see this stationary, very slow moving Uranus really grinding in to a star that connects to calamitous weather events, but also is very powerfully connected to the midheaven of Donald Trump. And I'm going to go through some other powerful public figures who have this star very strongly placed in their natal sky. So before we begin, I'm also doing all signs, right? So we're just going to talk about your rising sign, sun and moon sign. Listen for that. And I'm going to focus on the general idea of what it means to have Uranus retrograding in Taurus in your whole sign, house system, natal sky. But I'm also going to be addressing a time frame, and that's September the 30th or so, when Uranus is going to be extremely busy in the sky, squaring Venus, trining Mercury, and he's up to a lot of intense energy. He's also going to trine the goddess, the asteroid Pan. So Pan for pandemic or pandemonium, and Mercury news, and Uranus trine can be some really good news about pandemic things going on at the end of September and the beginning of October. But also we have a square to Venus. We'll talk about that for the all signs, because Uranus squaring Venus is not the easiest story when it comes to your love and money story. So we'll find out how that looks, but it can also be harnessed for something good, given there is a trine to Mercury. So we're going to begin right now. Here we go, talking about the big picture. And I will be sharing the chart with you so you can see it and you can get an idea yourself of what it looks like. But let me just say some broad brushstroke things first of all. Now, Uranus is a sky god, Uranus. He's the father of Saturn / Kronos. He was castrated by his son, So there's a whole story there in Greek mythology. And there's a sense of him being often associated with events that come from the sky, right? I want to say that it's not just, invention, originality, outside the box, iconoclastic, rule-breaking energy. That's often associated with the planet Uranus. It's also sky stories, right? And we have a lot of UFO phenomena going on. We have a lot of UFO things happening ever since. It's up-leveled a notch since 2018-19 as Uranus moved into Taurus. So a sky god is tinkering in the land of Earth, right? Earth, Taurus, Earth sign, planet Earth, things that grow, ground. And we're getting so much going on in our news cycle, so much about UFOs, AEPs, or aerial phenomena, whatever. I can remember what to say. And also disclosures and whistleblowers. Expect more of that. This Uranus retrograde will take what we've already seen, that Grush guy and all these congressional hearings, and it's going to pull back on the same territory it already traveled during all of these disclosures, all of these whistleblower events, and we're going to get more, and we're going to get deeper, and we're going to get more into it. There'll be more information. In your own life, of course, Uranus can be insights, downloads, ahas, and ways of receiving downloads, basically. And I find when he's retrograde, he's giving more of that download stuff personally. And when he's direct, he's just shaking my life up and moving me around, right? He's going through my Taurus 4th house because I'm Aquarius rising. So direct motion, he doesn't tend to uproot where I live. He tends to be doing insightful downloads about 4th house matters. So it's not all so bad. But let's talk about the idea of two things that I mentioned earlier. Capulus is the star we're about to talk about, and the goddess of war, Minerva, with Uranus, the god of the shocking and unexpected, getting ready to station retrograde. He's really slow. He's like piercing down and like inhabiting and nesting at 23 degrees of Taurus. 23 degrees of Taurus. That's a very hot spot in the sky. By the way, did I tell you guys to hit the like button, subscribe? Did I tell you my name? I'm Lori Lothian, a Western tropical zodiac astrologer using the whole sign house system. Did I tell you that my Sky Reader class, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, starts the 3rd week of September? Do you want to join? Come join. And my Patreon has a massive promotion on during the month of September. Come join me in September as a new Patreon, and you're going to get a bunch of freebies, up to $80 of value just on the month of September and the end of August. Okay, sorry, I forgot all about that. If you're watching the live premiere, hit the like button. So I want to really dive into the mundane first, and then we'll do the all signs. And the mundane astrology means this is for the world. These are world events connected to this narrative. If you don't like learning about world events, you can skip ahead to your sign in the timestamps and in the description box and in all of that. So we have chapters and timestamps here for you. Now, this is an interesting star, and I'm going to say, some people say, oh, stars don't have any impact on people, and all the lore of the stars are, sort of esoteric and not reliable. Let's put it that way. Well, this star Capulus is known to cause blindness. Yes, you heard me right. Blindness. Now, why I want to talk about blindness, it's such a dark topic, right? Not having great eyesight in general is a dark topic, and blindness is darker. Capulus, by the way, is in the constellation of the Perseus constellation, the one who slayed the Medusa, right? And we have the difficult star Algol about 3 degrees further along, around 27 degrees, which is Medusa's head. And this is another star because Medusa holds the head. Perseus holds the head of Medusa, Algol. Very difficult star, but also can bring wealth. That star is there, but Capulus is before that. And this is the hilt of the sword that is in Perseus's hand, that is the star Capulus. So we got a sword image in the sky, and we talk about Minerva, the goddess of war in the Roman tradition, sitting with Uranus. Sudden war, unexpected war, shocking war that we all expected finally coming to pass. You never know, right? Capulus has a tight orb of 1 degree and 30 minutes. Therefore, when this stationary moment happens at 23 degrees and change, it is tightly bound to Capulus. It is within orb, is how we say it in astrology. My sister, my biological younger sister, is legally blind. Okay, she has a very powerful connection to this star. Her sun is sitting on this star, and she has been legally blind since she was 29. So I just want to say, the star is known to cause blindness. There's an example of that blindness. And in fact, in the lore of the star, it goes into, it's really a nervous system, not an eyeball problem. In fact, the reason for her blindness is a nervous system problem, right? Neurological. All right. So it's a star of combat, enterprise, and it can be very destructive. And it's often associated as well with meteorological events in mundane astrology. And now we've got Uranus in Taurus. He brings earthquakes. He brings droughts. He brings like erratic and unexpected weather. Earthquakes as well, unfortunately, I have to say. And so I'm going to tell you that my feeling is, I'm not a doomsayer by any means, but I can't ignore all of this. So we could have an unexpected war developments as he stations to turn retrograde. And we're going to see that most likely in the 2 weeks after, when he's still pretty close to the star and to Minerva and stuff like that, 2 to 3 weeks after the station turnaround on the 28th of August. So therefore in the month of September. Now, I just want to also bring up another point here. This star is connected very much to the idea of, in the ancient tradition, the planet Saturn. and Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is a good planet. I mean, sort of the constellation of Perseus is connected to Jupiter and Saturn. So there's always something good. It's a warrior. It's a guy who cut off the head of a monster and then saved Andromeda and had a positive outcome at the end of the day. So sometimes we tend to think, oh no, there's something going on here, like bad star, evil star. But no, it's all, in the end of the day, there's a happy ending, Perseus itself, like the entire constellation, is often associated with big weather events. Alrighty, just keeping it in mind. Now, let's go into some more details here about this. There's called a Chinese mansion where Uranus is sitting, and it rules the stomach, and it's a 17th lunar mansion. The only reason I want to bring that up, because other than to do with wealth and storing, like grain storage, granaries to store grains, it also has a connection to prisons, punishments, execution, seawalls, canals, and reservoirs. Now, canals, reservoirs, seawalls, I'm thinking flooding. I'm thinking Saturn bringing hardship with Neptune in Pisces, and then this retrograde turnaround in a sign to do with the Earth. I would probably imagine some kind of flooding. I hope it's not an earthquake and a tsunami event, but there's a possibility. Also, prisons and punishments. I'm thinking of Donald Trump. Yes, we're in the mundane astrology. Donald Trump has his midheaven, his high noon of his chart, on the star in his sky. As we all know, there's 4 separate lawsuits against him currently. Or justice cases. He's being tried in 4 different trials. Interestingly, his arch enemy, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House for the Democrats, has her midheaven on the very same star. Those two really do square off together. Conjunctions are intense energies. They both have the same midheaven placement in their natal sky. Crazy, but true story. Now, you'll see the star is always well placed or placed strongly in the charts of people who are very much connected to doing dramatic and combative and, big things that we're all like gasping at, rash, wild, crazy stuff. So we did talk about Donald Trump. There's also Jordan Peterson. He has his ascendant on the star. Jordan Peterson is a Canadian iconoclast, rule-breaking professor of psychology who's gone totally anti-woke and is completely, gone viral everywhere, and he's very controversial. Steve Forbes has the same aspect on his ascendant, and Robert the Bruce from Scottish lore. So there's examples of the kinds of energies you can expect with this on the ascendant of somebody. Imagine that is an energy as a general thought that can influence the entire world. I wrote some other people down. Who were they? The son of Che Guevara, the revolutionary, is on Capulus. Okay, so we have the revolutionary. Jim Jones drank the Kool-Aid. Everyone died because he was a charismatic messiah figure. Jim Jones has his sun, his solar energy, on Capulus. All right, so there's a lot of intensity there. Mick Jagger has his moon on Capulus, and Mick Jagger, of course, is quite the outwardly wild character, to say the freaking very least. Salvador Dali has his Mercury on the star. And who is Venus? I was writing these down for you guys. Say Princess Diana, who died tragically. So I'm just giving you some examples. Jeffrey Dahmer, the mass murderer as well, has Capulus on his Venus. Anybody else? JFK has Jupiter. The assassinated U.S. president has Jupiter on Capulus. Kamala Harris has Jupiter on Capulus. So you're getting the sense of what I'm trying to get over here. Pluto, Capulus, Edgar Cayce. Pluto, Capulus, Winston Churchill. Hillary Clinton has her North Node on Capulus. So you get a vibe of these controversial, powerful public people, who are kind of got some kind of like debative, conflictual, rash energy. The star Capulus, it's the hilt of the sword, right? It's like the handle of the sword that Perseus is holding. And so we just wanted you to get a flavor of the star, right? That's sitting there. Like if that star is on the planets of these people, this is somehow how it can look, right? Not always, but certainly it can. I'm sure there's some kind of quiet farmer in the middle of nowhere, who has this star on his ascendant, and he's not causing a big ruckus, but it can be that too. Now, Minerva, the Roman goddess of war, she's associated with the symbol of the owl, books as well. You'll find published authors, agents, publishing industry people all have strong Minerva and or Athena placements in their chart. But she's also a war goddess, and we can't pretend she isn't. And it's ironic, though, that she received the Medusa's head from Perseus after she helped him kill the monster. So there is this already connection to the Perseus myth, the slaying of the monster, the Medusa, the Gorgon, whose sneaky head turned people to stone. So there's a lot going on with Minerva that's more than just books and knowledge and wisdom. There's also the potential for stories to do with swords, okay, and fighting and the spoils of war, like the head of the Medusa. No one likes to talk about the spoils of war in terms of that star, but I'm going to say that that can be very connected to what Minerva would like to go for as well. She's very strongly leaning into this story, and she's a part of the narrative. Okay, I was just checking the back end of my software. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up here. Let me remind you of a couple of things. You know, it's not going to be until like the end of, it's going to be May of 2026, basically, when we finally get Uranus out of Taurus. Although between July and December of 2025, he slides out of Taurus and into Gemini. So we're going to see him go, but come back. This influence is going to be like a shakeup, a fundamental, foundational, fixed energy Taurus in the world. Things that people think are never going to change will change. Uranus is technology. He's definitely all about aliens and AI. And Uranus is like going to shake up the fixed earth sign of Taurus. Certainly the way we grow food, this is all in my other videos over the time, but the way we grow food, the way we harvest food, the way the earth herself operates, you know, is going to dramatically change. I will say with Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces, this story that's unfolding until 2026 is hardship to do with water or water and weather or the seas, right? And Uranus and Taurus is just more of that destabilization of what's going on. Saturn and Neptune may be trying to, you know, do, and they're working together in a lot of ways because Uranus is sextiling Saturn and Neptune. So in the end of the day, yes, there's big change to do with oceans, but also to do with the metaverse, to do with technology, because this is very, metaverse is very Saturn and Pisces with Neptune, and changing the way we operate in the real world because of these technologies, including artificial intelligence. Now, let's move on away from the mundane and talk about all signs Uranus. Whoa, and I'm going to tell you, there's some serious pandemic stories going on in the sky. I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos about that between September, you know, October and November. I'm not pleased with what I'm seeing. I'm worried about it. Eris is a celestial body that moves really slow like Pluto, but we named a COVID strain Eris, and we're going to have, you know, Chiron and Eris activity in the sky all through September, October, and November. Energetically intense stuff to do with that archetype. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I've got some notes for a longer video on all of that. On like in early November, just to get ahead of the curve, you know, Mars will conjunct the asteroid Pam for pandemic or panic in Scorpio, but he's invisible. And I don't like that either. That feels to me like we could see some kind of pandemic story or resurgence of some pandemic stories, or pandemic actualities even. Mars, the god of plagues and pandemics, is going to die in the heart of the sun on November 17th. And that's another big deal as he resets his agenda and dies and rebirths in the heart of the sun on the 17th of November and becomes a brand new, early born, brand new Mars. And some of that is very gnarly as well because of the Pan story co-present through that time of rebirth. Pan for pandemic. Technically, it could also signal the end of a pandemic forever. Like, we're done. We are done. Let's go ahead and do the all signs for Uranus. Let me show you the sky. And let's bring you over to a picture of the sky. And we'll whip through, what does it mean to have Uranus retrograding? Yes, from the 28th of August to January 27th, from the 23rd to the 19th degree of the sign of Taurus. What does that actually mean for you individually? Because we're not, you know, your individual stories are individual stories. I'll focus on a bit of the Venus square narrative when Uranus squares Venus as well. And that might be a part of something we like to talk about. Oh, I did not check the Sabian symbol for us. Let me grab my Sabian symbol book before we start the all signs, okay? And I want to touch down with, what is that Sabian symbol? Hang on. I'm going back by the wrong increments. I want to go back to my Aries. Okay. Sabian symbol for the degree of the stationary retrograde, which is 23. We round up with Sabian symbols. Got my old Sabian book all beat up. We round up So it's going to be a 24 Sabian symbol in Taurus, right? And that's where that star Capulus is. So again, we know that star sits at 24 degrees of Taurus. And the Sabian symbol channeled by this lady, Elsie Wheeler, and, one channel symbol for every degree is, drum roll please, Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. Yay, I'm going to find it for you guys. Taurus, Taurus, Taurus 24. What is the Sabian? A mounted Indian with scalp locks, keyword command. Right, yeah, okay. Talks about aggression and heads rolling and temper. But hello, an Indian, how politically incorrect, a First Nations or Native American, anyway, an Indian with scalp locks. Okay, so an Indian holding scalps, right? Well, there's a war symbol, right? Because the Indians, the Native American people's tradition, I think it was only the Apache who were scalping people, by the way, of taking a spoil of war to be the scalp of the defeated ones, okay? Like little war trophies. Now, there's something about that. Again, I already told you there's spoils of war energy going on with this whole thing, Minerva, the goddess of war. So I'm going to predict that we're seeing an onset of a war. We already have a war in Ukraine, yeah, if you can call it that, but we could other places wars can break out, especially between China and Taiwan, especially between China and Taiwan. If my memory serves me, and I'm sure it does, I think that China's ascendant is Aquarius with the moon in Aquarius, because I remember thinking, oh my God, Pluto's going over the moon of the USA, of the Chinese nation. And that can be a power to the people powering up. It also could be death to the people. It can mean many different things. And Aquarius, right? So there's something to remind us about in terms of the idea of world nations and war, because in essence, Uranus going retrograde, right, is moving in a square energy to the ascendant of China. And I don't know if that means that there will be war with China and Taiwan or what, but there's something going on here. And maybe it's a left field or something I'm not seeing, like Iran, I don't know. So it kind of feels the stationary retrograde Uranus could begin a process of revealing the shocking and awe energy of war. The retrograde simply has gone over territory where it was already building up. It doesn't mean he's invisible. He's visible. So it means we've been building up some kind of territory between 19 degrees and 23 degrees of Taurus that is highly important. I want to take you guys back in time just for a minute. I want you to time travel with me energetically back to the summer. Basically the end of July, early August of 2022, we had a triple conjunction of Mars, Uranus, and the North Node at around 18 degrees of Taurus. Very close to the place where Uranus will turn around on January 27th at 19 degrees of Taurus. More God, Mars, Uranus, shock and awe, North Node expanding, amplifying, increasing. So I would say that maybe it would even show up as a January war, not beforehand, but I don't know. Really don't. We could see definitely executions, deaths, punishments, and crime with world leaders. Now, a world leader being executed wouldn't shock me with this retrograde, but nor would somebody like Donald Trump going to jail. Obviously, there's court dockets and times for the cases. He's probably not going to jail anytime soon, but if he is convicted, then there will be a jail sentencing coming down the road. We'll see. I just know that with Donald Trump's midheaven involved in a stationary, and Pelosi as well, in a stationary Uranus energy with Minerva there. Minerva is books, right, too. Could be law books. Who knows what's going on? Okay. And I'm not political, not a Democrat, not a Republican. I'm neutral. I don't like Biden and I don't like Trump, okay? And neither of them will be the people running for the candidacy of the president, according to my astrological estimation. So let's get going and begin with the Aries sun, moon, and rising sign. Who is Alexei Navalny? Is he the guy who got poisoned by Putin? Because his moon, which represents your body, is also on Capulus. Holy moly. I just looked at my notes, but I forgot who he was. I think he's the guy that Putin tried to poison, the rebel in the crew. All right. Well, did poison apparently, or somebody poisoned him with a nerve agent. All right. So finally, Nancy, my time stamping sister, here we go. This is the Aries sun, moon, and rising. Start. Let's get rolling, drum roll. So I am one of you. I have an Aries sun and moon guy, so I recognize this vibe. And what we have going on in our sky is we have the Uranus journey through our second house of money, earnings, possession, self-worth. voice, food styles. Now, it can really mean a lot. Like, I mean, let's go back to 2018, May to October. There was an ingress of Uranus here. And then in 2019, he began in January, I believe, to take full-time occupation of that second house. Now, it is your food style. And I did a whole new food style that started up just in 2020, which had to do with intermittent fasting and not eating, having an eating window. I'm still in it. I've been in it since then. I basically, usually don't eat anything. There's a good 16-hour gap between my last meal before bed and my first meal the next day. That food style change came through Uranus in this part of my sky. I also took up blueberry morning smoothies during this window of time. So you might notice that you've been erratically changing what you put in your mouth, food, cigarettes, food styles, etc. Uranus here also is about earning money, and you've been erratic and inconsistent, right? But changes and excitement, because this is your rags to riches placement. Uranus can bring you a sudden uptick of money, and there's no better time than next April, when Jupiter at 21 or so degrees, 21 degrees of Taurus will co-join with Uranus next April, and boom, you may get rich very, very quickly. Aries sun, moon, but most accurate rising sign. And I'm an Aries sun, so it may be something takes off in my career and it's really a big boom and it gives me some financial wellness. That's next year. So I want you to get the big picture, because every sign gets the big picture, and then we keep going. So August 28th and January 27th, retrograde Uranus is going back over old ground. He's really tapping in and tuning in and wondering and questioning things here between 23 to 19 degrees of Taurus as he goes back. You may find yourself receiving insights and downloads and new information that is quite original. And I'll give an example, I guess, for me, because I'm downloading my Deep Code Astrology course and content and book. It's all coming in my dreams, my meditations, insights, and it's going to take astrology, in my view, to another level of co-creation and away from passive prediction. And so I'm downloading inventive new content to create some earnings in my life, but also to share my voice in the world, right? Speech is your second house. One other thing I want to say, because I was talking about this little window of squaring Venus and trining Mercury. You can see it, right here. There's that Uranus square to Venus, trine to Mercury. Just to give you a little context, I'll do another video on this, but it seems to me that around the end of September, beginning of October, you're going to come into a very lovely time of prosperity, because Mercury is ginning up some success commercially, commerce, marketing, selling, communicating in the workhouse. And you've got some unexpected, exciting developments happening here, but you're not totally unexpected, because the retrogradation is something you may have been thinking about. Some of you may get a new job, right? It could be something that simple, but if not a new job, as an Aries rising, sun and moon, coming through the end of September, early October, it's just a really good money increase, and maybe even ability to pay off any kinds of debts that you may have at that time. And the square to Venus, well, you may be increasing your wealth quite dramatically here. And yet you also may be having to deal with some difficulties with a child, or a romantic partner, not a long-term committed love, but more of a shorter-term romance. It may be somebody you're not that committed to yet. And there's tension, unexpected difficulties, maybe with a child, maybe with fertility and pregnancy issues. But because it's all coming from that second house, some of these things are all about what you're going to be able to do in terms of speaking or voicing something in order to resolve that tension at the end of September into early October. And Venus and Uranus have been doing a tango, and they've been doing a square. This is the last of 3 squares. So there'll be a whole video on that coming up near the end of September. So subscribe, like, hit the bell. And if you're listening to the premiere, don't forget to hit my like button. So Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. What we have here is Lori taking a break. Give me a sec. I'm going to slurp some water, juice, whatever. I hope that didn't slurp into the mic. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. So Uranus has been in the house of you, and you've been like breaking your own rules ever since 2018-19, and will do so until 2026. And you have been basically getting out of a straitjacket. Whatever has been holding you back, some kind of, you're looking for freedom, rebellion, an essential sense of your original nature. You want to figure out what's true and not true. You're not just taking things for granted. You're not listening to people with authority telling you what's true. You are being that Uranian character, which can be rebellious and freedom seeking, but also original and inventive. And Uranus here is going to retrograde over old ground, the 23rd to the 19th degree of the sign of Taurus, and go deeper and deeper into things you've been trying to break free of, break through Uranus. Now, if you're a Taurus sun, moon, or rising, and you have that sun, moon, or rising sign anywhere between 20 degrees and 16 degrees of Taurus, you're going to experience the most transformation from this retrograde. Okay, because he's stationing at 23 degrees. Oh, I should have said, sorry, 26 degrees. So if you have 26 degree Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, and all the way back to 16 degrees, you're going to have a lot of juice from these months ahead, right? Because this is going to be Uranus tick-tocking over all of your activated, sun, moon, and rising. Certainly, though, 23 degrees is very critical. So imagine your sun, moon, or rising is 23 degrees, give or take 3 degrees on either side. Imagine your sun, moon, or rising is 19 Taurus, 3 degrees on either side, because that's a stationary turnaround at the third week of January 27th. These are going to be extremely important stories for you. Really, really important. Of course, if you have any other planets there as well, if you have a planet in Taurus at any of these degrees, very critical stuff. I have my Juno, my goddess for marriage and commitment, at 19 degrees of Taurus, and whoa, that's where Uranus stations direct. So big activity around marriage, commitment, and legal contracts, vows, etc. This is my real estate house. It may be a real estate contract that Uranus will deliver at the end of January. You could also say, lastly, that as a theme of Uranus going into your house retrograde, that you could download insights, ahas, and really amazing, original, inventive ideas. And if you're that kind of person, this is your time, especially, as I said, people with active degrees, my brain, 16 to 26 degrees of the sign of Taurus. There's a little gnarly tension with Venus here. You might be having some some disagreements with somebody in the home, some challenges with home property and real estate coming up in the third week of September, end of September, September 30th into early October. But you're looking at positive developments, Taurus, in your fifth house of pregnancy, fertility, and romance, children, creativity, joy, and entrepreneurship. And this looks really sweet for you. Great things are happening for you as well in that part of your sky, last part of September, early part of October. Now I'm going to open the window. I'm going to give it a try. Last time I tried to open it, I lost internet signal, but I'm going to give it a shot. Okay. Let's see what happens, because it is really hot here in Vancouver, Canada. And I'm recording on August 27th. And I think you guys are going to get this video. Hang on. I think you're going to get this video from me on the 29th. But I am recording it. My Patreon community has early access, ad-free, and all that stuff. And so they get it first before you, usually more than a day or two before, but I was on vacation, so I'm behind my recording schedule. Whew, it is better to have a breeze, Lori. Whew. Okay, let's keep on, keeping on. Here we go. Next. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign in your sky. What goes on here is a lot of good stuff. Number one, it's going to be very positively impacting you if you are into a spiritual awakening path, because this is Uranus, the pineal gland, the downloads, the third eye, and there's Jupiter like guru and spiritual attainment and all that dispelling of darkness. Athena, knowledge, wisdom, and gnosis. I just know that I am one with the universe. I know that God is me, all that stuff. So this is an amazing time for you and your enlightenment direction. If you are in that path, then look for the 28th of August through to January 28th to wake you that hef up. All right. But it could also be really good for revenue, commerce generated from overseas, but you're going back over old ground, and you may be revising your strategies and having great new ideas for how to generate revenue from foreign countries, foreign commerce, international revenue. You also may be going back to travel. Jupiter's here. Uranus is unexpected opportunities to travel overseas or to foreign lands coming through, but you've been there before. Uranus tells us it's old ground. You've been to that country before. That's you traveling somewhere foreign on the 28th to January 27th, but getting a lot of good ideas, a lot of excitement going for you in that part of that travel journey. And a lot of you, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, probably can recognize you've done quite a bit of travel since 2018, if that's something you like to do. It's even amplified now with Jupiter here, more travel than ever. The other thing I'd say is that and if you're a Gemini and you got into enlightenment since 2018-19, I wouldn't be surprised either. Some people don't know this. I have a blog called theawakenedreamer.com. Just Google that with Lori Lothian. Someone stole that name for a friggin' tarot deck on me, but oh well. Thanks, Wiser. But anyway, you could read all about the enlightenment stories that I've gone through, because you've been investigating this since 2018-19, whether you consciously decided to or not. The universe is giving you a direction. At the end of September, early October, that square to Venus in your third house can be some friction with a sibling, especially a younger sibling, possibly also with a neighbor, but also with some kind of learning or path of learning that you're doing. You may feel like you want to travel abroad, but there's friction in the local environment around the travel plans. That's the end of September into early October. I love the trine to Mercury, however, at the same time, Mercury is telling us that things look pretty good for you at home, marketing, merchandising, and selling at home. And if you are into buying or selling a home, I do love Mercury in the Pluto energy here to get a really great opportunity to get a great mortgage, to sell a property, to buy a property. And it's if you do want to do that, it's unexpected, right? You might buy something in a foreign country. It's unexpected. You're not looking for it. You may know of this area, but you're going to like, ooh, what a surprise that is. I'm going to buy a property in that other country, not the one you're living in usually. Okay, that's the 12th house, lands far off from where you currently are, and ideally from where you were born as well. All right, I'm going to just like roll through this, rolling through. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Well, you got this energy of Uranus stationary, turning around on the 28th of August through to January 27th in your 11th house, reminding you that Uranus has been in and out of here since 2018 and will be there till 26. And you feel that this is the area of the most unpredictable change. This is where things are shaking and baking, and that's your friendship circles, your groups of belonging. This is your relationship with your elder sibling. It's really shifted since 2018. My sister Nancy's a Cancer rising. She's my time stamper, healingwithnancylynn.com, miracle healer, distance healer. And she basically started hanging with me in 2018-19. We started traveling together, and we had never done that. She came to see me in Vancouver. We went to Costa Rica. We began to become travel buddies. So the new relationship with a sibling. And interestingly, the other thing that's going on here is that you have great gains from your career in the 11th. We all do. It's what you make. It's the money derived from 10th house activities financially, as well as reputation, like winning awards. Chris, what do you call it? Like getting your Academy Award. So Jupiter is expanding the gains from your career if you're a Cancer rising. He doesn't stop expanding them till the third week of May next year. You just got here this May. Now you got Uranus moving toward, back. Well, Jupiter's running from him too, because he'll be retrograde as well. Check out my Jupiter retrograde out video. It's already out. And basically it's sort of like, especially next year in April, let a boom to your money story in your career path, but you're already sensing that. And so look to ways, in this retrograde time, in the months ahead, that you can come up with new ideas that are original and innovative for creating greater financial gain from the career that you have chosen to do. With that North Node moving through your career house all the way through until January 2025, you are absolutely killing it as a Cancer rising, especially Sun and Moon secondarily, in career and money from career over the next couple of years. And you can feel some of that happening in the retrograde Uranus as you come up with new ideas. Now, the square from Uranus to Venus at the end of September, early October could be a financial problem. It's not a big deal. I mean, Venus is direct. She's a money goddess. It could be a spending problem. You have to buy a big ticket item. It surprises you, or there's some spending needed involving your career, or some spending needed involving a friend or involving a elder sibling. Okay. A little bit of a glitch of spending, but this is another video coming up to talk about the 3-part Uranus-Venus narrative anyway. Second of all, the trine to Mercury in your third house is absolutely delightful. Mercury's now in direct motion. He's flowing to that retrograde Uranus. Places you've gone in the past to create great career gains or connections to siblings are on steroids. You may travel with a sibling, to a sibling, from a sibling, cousin as well. You may take a trip for sure. And this is like Mercury going, we're going to communicate news, information, end of September, early October about a journey. Again, it can involve siblings and cousins. It may just involve travel. And if you want to learn something, Mercury loves to study. He's going direct now. Time to sign up for that course that'll help you be more creative, innovative, and successful in your career, making more money. You'll learn about that course or know about it or even sign up for it maybe the end of September and the beginning of October. And lots of communication with neighbors or siblings is going on at the end of September. And it's exciting. It's exciting energy because of the Uranus trine. Certainly you're going to have unexpected news from a sibling that's going to be a positive at the end of September and early October. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So you have the movement of Uranus retrograde on the 28th of August through until the 27th of January. This is nothing new. He's been, first of all, in your 10th house since 2018-19, leaves in 2026. Quite simply, everything about your career has been in and out, up and down, on and off, and erratic. Nothing is staying the same. You're trying to be a free, inventive, iconoclastic, do it your own way, and certainly nothing is status quo here. So a lot of you made changes to your career. So I know a few Leos have done that. So if that's not true for you, I'd be really surprised. Don't forget your degree matters. Your degree matters. Like if you're a Leo rising and you have your sun, moon, or rising in the first 10 degrees of Leo, you've got a lot of juice from Uranus already. That's behind you. Now it's people, and then if you're like 10 to 20 degrees, you're in the new cohort, right? It's 2020 to 23, 4, you're getting a lot of action. And then 2023, 3 to 2026, it's people 10 degrees Leo to 29 Leo, big changes in your career. So what I'm sort of saying, it gets parsed out by degree, right? I don't know your degree of your sun, moon, and rising here. So Jupiter is opportunity. And between this May and next May, opportunity glows upon you. Bosses love you, great luck in your career, favors in your career, raising of power and success. And Uranus is unexpected and dramatic, especially next April. I'll be doing a whole video on the super exciting conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in your career house next year. But before that happens, as he's retrograding here, August 28th to January 27th, look for going over old ground in your career and reputation, directions and space, or what you do in the visible world that people watch you do, and how you are going to create something inventive or different. New ideas are germinating for how you wish to do your career. You do see at the end of September that there is this square to Venus in the house of you. This is where you feel charming, beautiful, and charismatic and popular. And there may be a conflict with a work situation or a colleague or a boss where it's kind of raining on your beauty parade and you're like, oh my God, I don't feel so good right now about myself. Or you may be actually conflicted and facing one of your deepest values about what you really want in life based on a situation in your career space happening at the end of September, early October. Then at the same time, there's a trine to Mercury direct now in your second house of money. He's leaving there October 5th. So it means that like the end of September, beginning of October, you've got some opportunity to make money. It looks really good. It could be a career boost, a career raise, a promotion, a new job. You apply for a job, you get the job, you hear about the interview. I don't know, but it's money and career bonus points on the game board for you in the end of September and the beginning of October. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. I'm just about tempted to go get a martini, shake it up, and drink it here because I've done a lot of work today. I had a class I taught, which I really loved, Chiron, the Key to Purpose. And I'm going to confess to Virgos. And then I did my video for the week ahead. And now I'm doing my Uranus video. This is my Sunday, guys. I'm not even seeing clients right now. But even working seems like it's work lately. So thanks for listening, Virgos. Virgos are really good, by the way. If you've got a problem and you need a solution, they're such great helper types. Okay, Virgo. You have this energy here Oh, and if you're watching in the live premiere and you haven't hit my like button, please do. And maybe I'll take a little bit of a break. I'm sorry, Nancy, my time stamper. I just want to shout out a few people. I love the regulars in my group, and I never shout them out enough. But I'm getting some new people that have just signed up too, and of course I'll forget their names. But anyway, thank you to our Soul Songs, Jupiter 8, Stephen the Jupiterian, Feral Writer. She's gonna be so successful with her Cancer energy, and Purple Table Tarot, Bold and Beautiful Tarot, psychic readings with somebody. I love the names, by the way. Who is that new person that came in? I thought, oh, their name. Boiling Frogs. What a great name for a channel. What I love is people's creativity. L.A. Taylor, Misbehaving, and Onward. Thank you for being a part of my crew. Michael Thrash, Serge LaBelle from Montreal. Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing me with other people. You guys are amazing. I feel like I'm getting to know all of you. I'm really looking forward to visiting Scotland and seeing some of my Scottish crew in the future. So anyway, let's keep on keeping on. And a lot of you have become clients as well. I just wanted to shout you out, and let's get back to the recording. Hit the like button. Yeah, you know the drill. Share the screen, subscribe. Here we go. Resume the share. We're back in, right? Am I in? Yeah. Well, my Virgo rising daughter is always my example. Don't troll me. I like to use people I know. It gives me ways to give examples and stories. All right, so let's start from the beginning. Back in 2018-19, Uranus entered your 9th house of academia. My daughter was in school at McGill University in Montreal. Everything got really gnarly because Uranus distressed her and disturbed her academia, and she took time off and took breaks from school, and now is going back to school. So she's still finishing, but at a different school. So Uranus will disrupt what you plan, basically. So anybody who is a Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the disruption was to your foreign travel plans, and this is true until 2026, to your academic environment plans, to your book publishing plans, to your legal and judges and court matters, to your third marriage plans, to your visa plans, to your religious and spiritual faith plans. Okay, so that's all being disrupted. All right, and if you are a Virgo, Sun, or Moon, or Rising, between 16 and 26 degrees of Virgo, this retrograde really matters to you. Did I say that right? 16 to 26 degrees of Virgo. You're really feeling this, right? And this disruption energy that was happening up in your 9th house back in the day, those were like 2018 to 2020, those were Virgos in the first 10 degrees of Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So remember to parse it by degree, where you got more disruption than less. But there's something I need to say for you guys, right? Uranus is in a flow to you. It's called an Earth trine. All the changes, no matter how unexpected or disruptive, are for good. This is like Uranus, the god of unexpected and dramatic change, but also of, the sky god, the big guy, giving you some real good redirection from your 9th house. You're not going to live through him being back in your 9th house again. This is a house of God. You guys could have insights and ahas and downloads about the nature of God, spirituality, truth, and wisdom, if you want them. Some of you don't. And as he's moving, because you're so down to earth, but as Uranus moves through here, expect the retrograde motion August the 28th to January 27th to perhaps ask you to go back and think up some new ideas or come up with some new inventive strategies for things 9th house. I'm not going to say all the meanings of the 9th house all over again. Jupiter means if you're in academic settings or you're traveling, you're super blessed, protected by Jupiter, getting superior blessings with Jupiter up here through till the end of May next year. That's wonderful. It's enough to make some Virgos move to another country, I'll tell you that much. You think, oh yeah, really? Well, yeah, I think really, because Jupiter rules the house of home and homeland, and he's in that foreign space with Uranus. Very exciting. For some Virgos, they may just uproot and move to another country. And I know some Virgos have already done that. Now, there's good news here. That is that Mercury is going to, especially by the way, with bookie knowledge and wisdom goddess up here. Oh my God, for academic people or book publishing people, this is a lovely Mercury. This is a lovely Uranus station retrograde. Let's go back to the good things and the bad things. So there's a square to Venus happening at the end of September, beginning of October by Uranus squaring Venus, part 3. I'll be doing a whole separate video on that one for you guys later in the month. But it basically means some kind of tension is happening here, unexpected, to do with money from foreign countries or shores, foreign women, foreigners, situations in foreign lands, bad pleasures and sexuality, and women who don't have your back, who are trying to be undermining toward you, that you're secretly always thought were your true friends. And so this tension erupts all of a sudden here around the end of September. But at the same time, I love that Jupiter trine to Mercury. You are experiencing such a powerful, not seen since 2016 Mercury 2-month transit through your house of you. And this is such a blessing for you. See how you changed your life in positive ways, August and September of 16, because it's back. And here we have Mercury now direct and moving forward since September 15th, receiving at the end of the month this energy from this retrograde, slow moving Uranus. Insights, downloads, and ideas are pounding down from heaven on your head. You are full of originality and invention and excitement about things that are ninth house. I'll give you an example. My Virgo rising friend is traveling to Europe. Maybe she's going to have some most amazing event happen at the end of September. It's going to blow her away. And then she realizes she wants to move there or something, you know? Or my daughter is enrolled in a course in her first September, and she's like falls in love with the topic and realizes she wants to get a doctorate in it. Like, aha, we'll see. These are exciting times for you, Virgo. So there's no doubt about it. Okay, thanks for listening, Virgo. We're going to move on. All right, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. It is a story here of Mercury and Uranus, and he has been moving in your Taurus part of your sky now since 2018-19, and he leaves in 26, and he's in your 8th house of chunky money. So Libras, it's been really interesting, hasn't it? I hope you know this. You know, your stock investments, your investment strategies, your money, your 401k, your shared resources with a spouse, your tax situation has been erratic. Now, I have a Libra friend of mine who's gone through a couple of weird things with her money story, including, you know, a strange like audit with a tax company, the IRS. It made no sense. Erratic stuff to do with the way her PayPal Stripe was going a while back. So these kinds of like stories of mortgages, banks, loans, taxes, inheritances have been all over the map. Now, Jupiter here is an inheritance transit of some kind. To come into money, to be bountiful from other people's money, is truly here for you until the end of May next year. Already started this May. And now Uranus is backtracking over old ground, August the 28th to January 27th, and he's going to help you find a kind of solid footing as he brings more excitement or ideas into this part of the money sky. Because occult mysteries and tarot and numerology and all that stuff are 8th house, and I talk to dead people, that could be something for you as well, okay? Especially at the end of September, beginning of October, when Jupiter, Mercury kind of vibe and trine over to Mercury. Uranus is trining Mercury in your 12th house. So downloads from the Akashic records, past life memories coming back, Archangel Michael giving you a book to write. I don't know. It's that kind of weird stuff. For those of you who are into that weird stuff. I mean, if you're a Libra rising and Uranus is in your 8th house and you haven't picked up a tarot deck or seen a reader or investigated alchemy and magic, I'm shocked. I really am. Some of you might have not have, but it's interesting, especially rising sign Libra. You may find that this is a transit that has to do with inheritance monies just because of Minerva here. And so looking at some unexpected but important developments around trust funds, inheritances and stuff, but they're good for you. The trine to Mercury means things are good for you in this regard. Alrighty, especially if the money comes from a country, from another country, like a relative living in another country than you. Right, and the square to Venus, end of September, beginning of October, energetically, it's like, okay, it's pretty precise around the 29th of September. What is this kind of shocking, unexpected development with an elder sibling, with a friend, or a group of belonging, where you just feel extremely jolted, and it may involve money. Okay, it may involve money, and you have to deal it up, basically, or a way that you thought you were going to create career gains in your career path, money, Venus 11th, and it destabilizes. Or lastly, a sudden moment of celebrity, and people are noticing you a lot in the public. But on the other hand, there is some kind of rattling energy around what you like to keep secret, right? So you've been outed somehow, and it's not pleasing to you about something about who you really are and what you hide from the world. 8th house matters, and Venus is celebrity status in the 11th, and you're like, oh my God, pay attention to the end of the month for that. In the month of September. Okay. The trine to Mercury, I addressed that already. Money from foreigners, foreign lands and shores, commerce, negotiations, and maybe an opportunity to travel, but for financial reasons or occult mystery reasons at the end of September and the beginning of October. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let me take a sip of my water, Scorpio. Is that a little ant on my desk? So back, contextualizing the story, back in 2018-19 through to 2026, Uranus has been traveling through Taurus, and your Taurus real estate in your sky of your 12 pie slices is a part of your sky that is your significant marriage type partner, and maybe your business partner, and also maybe partners in our clients' audience marketplace that you reach out to from your 10th house. Why? 10th from the 10th. Want to count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. What you do in your career, reaching the public, is here, the 7th house. Now, legal contracts and vows and negotiations and deals are here too, 7th house. So basically, you have a lot of luck here, right? Jupiter is like trundling through. This is like a marriage partnership thing. Get married, move in together, up level your significant relationship, get better clients, attract the perfect teacher, expand your reach in your business or your career. Then Uranus is now retrograding August 28th to January 27th. This is a call to come into some contact with some originality, some inventive design, but more likely original person, because this is not the house of you. It could be your marriage partner has an aha of great magnitude that brings greater prosperity and abundance to both of you. Or that some freedom-loving, eccentric, iconoclastic, rule-breaking person from the past returns to you, and they're in your awareness during August the 28th to January 27th. Because at the end of the month of September into early October, there is a square from Uranus to Venus. There's disruption and difficulty that you may not expect from your partner and vis-a-vis the word career, your career path, your career success, your reputation success. There's an unexpected development in a life of a love relationship partner or business partner that can bring some disruption and disharmony and lack of ease and peace to what you're doing in your very successful Venus-fueled career space right now. Or a female in the career space is doing contrary actions to your 7th house of significant others and marriage partners and clients. The trine to Mercury is lovely, and this is also happening at the end of the month. And Mercury's moving direct. So the end of September, early October, along comes some kind of increase, perhaps, of socialization with friends and groups of belonging that are exciting to you. That's where he is, but connecting to that outreach with clients and business partners and or your spouse. Mercury in the 11th house can be really good, really positive energy. If you want to increase your revenue through commerce, if you are selling things in your living, you are a merchandiser, you got your merch, you can have a merch up level if that's a part of your Scorpio life. Mercury is now going direct, and so there's a lot to do with moving forward with social groups because you've been changing them, right? Mercury got here for a 2-month stay, haven't changed your social groups of belonging and friendship networks that much, and then since 2016, August, September, Mercury here is like kind of revising it a bit. He retrograded. You heard from old friends, you may have brought them back in, whatever. So that's a bit of a revision of the groups of people you wish to associate with, including belonging to, right? A club or a group of belonging. So there may be some expected setting new groups of belonging or friendships developing during this retrograde Uranus, especially at the end of September, early October. And they may come through clients or significant others in your life, that these new crowds or crews are showing up in your story. And if you're single, you may meet somebody you want to date at the end of September, early October, and it's going to go really well, but you would be introduced through a friend or a social event in friendship circles, most likely, okay? All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. You know, I'm no, I go, I'll do you and I'll take a break. All right, so here we have Uranus moving retrograde, August 28th to January 27th, in a part of your sky, the sixth house, that he's been navigating now since 2018-19 and finishes finally completely in 2026. This is indicating that you have had disruptive, erratic changes to your workspace, your job, basically, maybe to your health as well. Sometimes with pets. So my Sag sun, Fergus ex-husband, we'd lost a pet, our pet, erratic, unexpected death of a pet during this transit since 2000. Oh no, I take it back. It wasn't that time. I forgot Uranus. Yeah, 2018. It was pretty close though. But it's also where you have disruption in your workspace. Things are changing here and your job is changing or your career is changing and there's unexpected developments for you in that area. Also, your relationship to debts, including money that you owe and stuff. There's a lot of erratic energy here. Now, the retrograde is going to mean something like going back and redoing and readdressing what you need there in that part of your sky, the pets, the rental tenancy agreements, the health protocols, the debts, real and imagined, karmic and real. Also maybe your workspace for sure, like definitely changes in the workspace. And if you don't work, say you're retired or something, then it's whatever you call your workspace. Do you have a little den that you hang out in, or do you meditate or something? Where is that little place you go that's your office? You know what I mean? In your home even. As he goes retrograde here, you could have unexpected developments regarding health, but they would be old health problems coming back. And you thought, oh my God, I thought I dealt that up. I don't want that for you, but it could happen. Don't forget, he's in a tight, narrow range of 23 to 19 degrees. If you had any problems with eyes or eyesight, because he's stitching on a planet for blindness, my only warning to Sag, sun, moon, and rising, especially rising, is to make sure your eyes are checked, right? We don't want to have unexpected blindness here. Just go get your optometrist to take a look or your ophthalmologist to make sure all is well. That's definitely a heed the call here and be cautious. I'd like the end of September, early October, because it's very good for work. Mercury moving finally direct after an end of a 2-month stay in your 10th house. Not seen that since 2016. That was when my ex-husband Sag guy got a really great job. And you're going to see that this could look like that all over again. Something's going on, but it's exciting and it's unexpected, but it's connected to your past. Jupiter's making you lucky in work and health anyway until next May. And all of a sudden, boom, something like end of September, early October could look like an opportunity to be employed, a phone call, an email coming through from someone in the 10th house, a former boss, a former employee, a colleague, and it looks like you're going to get some kind of work goodness out of this, if that's what you want, Sag. It doesn't have to be a full-time job or anything like that, but there's some kind of work and service vibe activating here at the end of September, early October. Otherwise, just having the retrograde Uranus here is good for nervous system stuff, right? Vagus nerve meditations and stuff, releasing your nervous system from stress. And you've been stressed out. Uranus here has activated your nervous system. You've been highly nervous, basically. You're a nervous wreck. You're hysterical even. Hysteria has struck ever since 2018, 19. And if you don't feel like you've been a nervous Sag, sun, moon, or rising, I'm shocked, especially rising, but sun too. And now this is like Uranus goes back and goes like, let's kind of like chill a little. Let's retro over this nervous problem. So good time for meditation, vagus nerve stuff, chill out, all of that. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, rising. Oh, did I cover everything for you guys? I think I did. Just hang on, I had a moment. Oh, I forgot Venus. So also Sag, Venus square at the end of September, early October. This is the third square. I'll be doing a longer video, but some kind of disconnected, unexpected, disruptive conversation, phone call, email, something with a female in a foreign country, an opportunity or woman even connected to book publishing industries, visas, foreign lands, and travel. So, Venus up here would be pleasure or leisure travel, and you had something planned and boom, it doesn't work, maybe because you got a job, or a love relationship with a foreigner gets disrupted, or that money you thought you were going to get in the legal case is suddenly disrupted. Something's going on, a little disruptive at the end of September and early October. I really want a martini, but I'm going to go get a bit of chocolate and then I'm going to be right back. If you're watching in the live premiere, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It helps the channel grow. I authentically appreciate every one of you who gives me those likes that the algorithm rewards. Okay, so it's all a game of the algorithm. Whew, I'm back. Let's go ahead. Let's keep going. We got 3 signs left. Where did it go? I lost the screen. You guys see it and I don't. Okay, here we are. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising sign. Uranus has been moving through Taurus, and he's been doing that since 2018-19, and he completes in 2026. This is your romantic house. This is your love life and sexuality, and this is your children and your fertility, baby making, and having children. I love Jupiter here. If you're a Cap rising and you want to make a baby, Jupiter's helping you out. He's here till the 3rd week of May, and he'll be here making babies if you want them. Now, this is expanding energy, and it's good for romance. It's good for children. It's good for your children if you have them. Wonderful blessing to have Jupiter moving through your 5th house. You want to talk unexpected pregnancy, guys, and you're a Cap rising or Sun or Moon, April next year, watch out. Jupiter Uranus conjunct, that's unexpected pregnancy. If I ever saw unexpected pregnancy, for sure. Now, the gist here is that you have erratic, unpredictable outcomes around fertility, children, entrepreneurship, creativity, the muse, some of your skills and talents, maybe in and out, on and off. And the other thing with the 5th house, it's definitely that romance story. And so if you've been erratically romanced and nothing's been really hitting the mark, or your sexual life isn't quite there. I mean, some of you got inventive. You're a Cap rising with a Taurus romance house, and you like your sex straight up, traditional, right? Like, give me the tradition, whatever that is for you. Like, I love my missionary style, but I love my monogamy. But I know some Caps who've had this ever since 2018-19, Uranus transit through their 5th house, who've gone all out. Like, I'm doing a polyamory thing now. I'm going to a tantra thing now. I'm doing this, that now. So there's a change here. You've been finding yourself experimenting and changing in your romance, sex stuff, all of that. A lot of you, not everyone. But there's an erratic energy. I love the energy, however, of Uranus here with Jupiter indicating a potential real breakthrough in your sexuality, in your romance life, in your dating life, in your creativity, in your entrepreneurial life, all of that, and your pleasure and leisure life, your travel life, your joy. And this is a joyful transit, Jupiter in your 5th. He is retrograding, but that's a whole other video. Go watch it. And you could find yourself basically, retrograding here on the 28th to the January 27th, between 23 and 19 degrees. If you're a Cap, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and your rising sun and moon is anywhere between 16 and 26 degrees of Cap, this is a very important retrograde, okay? Especially those of you with planets near 23 or 19, or your sun, moon, and rising of Cap, you're really getting a lot of juice from this retrograde. Now, Uranus retrograding is kind of like, let me bring you some new ideas. Let me bring you some new, exciting, unexpected developments with your children about pregnancy, in your love life with your romantic partner. And the retrograde motion of Uranus here is also maybe about your children having unusual things happen to them, or have unusual events, unexciting, unusual events happening, but very blessed and safe with Jupiter, right? It is at the end of September that we see that tension with Venus. Venus is like in your chunky money house, where you hold those 401k stock investments, taxes, retirement monies, mortgages. And Uranus is disruptive here. I mean, he's going back over old ground, but there could be some financial disruption with a child, with a significant love relationship partner, with a creative project. And you just wrote the most amazing novel, and you thought you were going to get funding for the publication of it or something, and all of a sudden the money's drying up. I don't know. There's definitely a challenge around finances here, but secrets too. Venus here in the 8th can be love secrets, and there's romance and sexuality in that 5th. So some of you may be exposed to a bit of a love secret by somebody, a shocking, unexpected secret about love and romance. Venus is very much about, sometimes when she's in the 8th house, forbidden love, forbidden romance, like, extracurricular, mister, and being a mistress, whatever, secret love affairs. And so, she's here, by the way, forever. June, July, August, September, October. I'm not saying all you Cap risings have had a mistress love affair or something, but if anything has been a little bit secretive with love, especially with the one you're with, you could have a bust out breakthrough, aha, shock and awe moment, as there's been a revelation here. Maybe Jupiter likes to win money, luck. He's in a money luck house. You could win some money. But why is there disruption from Venus in the 8th when she would just be happy to give you the money? So disagreements around shared resources with a business partner or spouse can happen as well. And this is all at the end of September, early October. I love the trine, however, to your 9th house of foreign lands and travel, foreign shores, gallivanting, visas and passports, 9th house of God, religion, spirituality, and third marriages. So all of those things are getting a super glow up end of September, early October, as Uranus in retrograde motion loves up that direct motion. Mercury has not been in your 9th house since 2016. August, September in such a long duration because of the retrograde. And therefore, this is a very rich part of your sky, this 9th house. Some of you may be traveling quite extensively to foreign shores with this Mercury transit. Some of you might be looking at going back to school or thinking about what you need to do for higher education. And some of you may be getting messages from God. And this is something that doesn't continue past October 5th. So they'll love it while it's here. But I think with Uranus in that flow and trine to both your ascendant and to the 9th house, creating a grand earth trine. Lakshmi, the god of wealth and prosperity, is part of the 9th house energy. It's a luck house. Jupiter's a lucky god with Uranus in a luck house. For some, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, there's a strong possibility of being thunderstruck by some financial luck or some really good luck in general. But 5 is a money house too. So that would be the end of September and early October. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. In the sky, you've had Uranus traveling through your 4th house of home property and real estate since 2018-19, down in 2026. Depends on the degree of your rising. First 10 degrees Aquarius rising, sun and moon, those placements. You had most of the disruption between 2018, let's say, and 2020, 21 maybe. And then, people born like 10 to 20 degrees of sun, moon, and rising Aquarius, your disruptions were maybe more like 2021 through to 2023, 23, 24, 23 now. And then the next set of people, the last decan, last 10 degrees of Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, 20 to 29 degrees, you're coming into your turn, 23 to 26, where you get all the shake up in your home, where you live, your property, your nest, your domestic private life, real estate. Okay, your turn. I already gone through it. I'm Aquarius rising around 18 degrees. Most of my turbulence was the last 2 years behind me. And I tell you stories, guys. I can tell you, you won't believe what happened to disrupt me. Move to Montreal, move back to Vancouver, move from Vancouver to Ontario, Ontario back to Vancouver. Holy man. Anyway, so here we go. He's retrograding. On the 28th to January 27th, this is the domestic life and your nest. You're going back over old ground, maybe looking at ideas that you want to make happen in and from your home. You may be, being a bit freedom loving and rebellious around things to do with your home. But I love that Jupiter's here protecting everything and keeping everything massively expansive, prosperous, joyous, and bountiful. Good for teaching and learning in and from your home. Jupiter's here till the 3rd week of May next year. And with Uranus here, and also with the knowledge and wisdom goddess and all of that, holy man, if you're like me and you're trying to download something like deep code astrology, or you're trying to download the next unified field theory or how quantum gravity really works, this is a great transit for it. So you guys are really into this sort of original mind, but it's happening at home and in the home and from the home. Retrograde Uranus at the end of September squares Venus in your significant client house, audience, marketplace, 10th, from the 10th, 7th house. Also your significant love partner and also your female friends and clients belong here. A woman client, a woman partner in business, a potential love partner energy is highly activated at the end of September into early October. It's clearly going to feel a little unexpected or disruptive, okay? There's a bit of shock or unexpected developments, and it could destabilize your plans or your way you want to operate and do something in and from your home. It's not the worst thing. It's a part of a 3-part story. I'll be doing a whole video on it. Venus is still a benefic, and you can attract very benefic people to you during this 4 months that Venus has been in your 7th house and will be in there. But quite often the sky is literal. If Mars was there, we'd be talking about a male, and Venus is there. So you could have some significant female in your life. It could be a really good friend or a client, and there's going to be some unexpected disruption here, okay? I'll use me as an example. My girlfriend's traveling to Europe, and I'm taking care of her dog. And because of the Mars Venus sextile, it could be like, I'm not coming back. And I have plans to travel, and she's not coming back, and I have to keep the dog longer. Just something small like that at the end of September into early October. The trine to Mercury is sweet and quite lovely for your finances. I love Mercury moving direct in your 8th house. You might get a tax accountant advising you on how to not pay taxes. You might figure out how to pay off a credit card. You might get a loan that's a super amazing deal. You may find yourself at the end of September, October, downloading the mysteries of the universe, occult mysteries, talking to dead people, channeling Lazarus. I don't know. But with that Mercury retrograde up now going direct up there after the 15th, it's really good for financing and financial development. So September 15th and onward, buying a home, selling a home can be very auspicious as well. Things to do with bounty, property, home, land, and real estate are sanctioned. Yes, 2 thumbs up. September 15th, get even better at the end of September, early October. Uranus just brings in the element of surprise. So you think you want to buy a house, but you're not sure, and all of a sudden you hear about a place that's off the market. You're very lucky with property right now. Same with rentals. It could be rentals, but it can also be buying and selling. All right, last and always last, and first and always first, best and always best, the Pisces people. Well, okay, so you got the energy of Uranus beginning in 2018-19, disrupting and changing and radically startling you in your 3rd house of trips, travel, siblings, especially younger, okay? But siblings in general, and also cousins. And this energy in your 3rd house has been like erratic. It's to do with your neighborhood and the local neighborhood in which you live, and your neighbors. And there may be a lot of neighborhood changes for you as a Pisces, or disruptions with the neighborhood as well. So that all began back in 2018-19, and then it's really not done till 2026. And we're back to the degree of your ascendant or your sun and moon. So if you are a Pisces sun and moon in the first 10 degrees, this Uranus disruption in your 3rd was back in 18, 19, 20, more of the disruption, then, if you're like 10 to 20 degree Pisces sun and moon, you're feeling that disruption like 2020 to 23. And then if you're the last degrees of Pisces, the biggest disruptions are coming now, 2023 to 2026 for you, like 20 to 29 degree Pisces sun, moon, and rising. This particular retrograde at 23 degrees can encompass people with Pisces energies 26 degrees all the way back to 16, as this retrograde goes back to 19 degrees, having some erratic changes to do with your home, if your IC is in the 3rd house, or your neighborhood where you live, but also to your travel plans. You want to go on a trip, and everything is like sort of erratic, but also you're going back over old ground, and Uranus is like, do you want to go back over that place to travel there again? And you may travel to a place unexpectedly that you have probably been before, or that you wish to have gone and maybe almost made a trip happen but didn't. This is kind of the vibe. So I would say that as well, at the end of the month of September, there is a square to Venus in the 6th house of pets, work, and rental agreements. And if any of those things matter to you, there's disruption at the end of September, early October, where maybe even a female colleague or coworker, or maybe a situation to do with an animal, a domestic pet, or something to do with your health even. Venus is trying to swell you up and make you better and better and healthier, June, July, August, September. But, she's getting disruption from Uranus here. So a little bit of a glitch in the health, nothing big. Could happen at the end of September, early October. But it's something old, nothing new, coming back from the past. That said, a sibling can reach out to you suddenly with some kind of information to do with work or work opportunities. It doesn't necessarily disruptive per se, but it may not really fit with what you have in mind right now at that time, at the end of September, and you may turn it down, basically. Jupiter's giving you opportunities galore, but you may say no to that one, especially if it's a work opportunity that you really don't feel like doing. End of September, early October. And with Mercury in your 7th house, legal contracts, deals, and negotiations, especially around land, property, and real estate, but also connected perhaps to travel. And so you look like you could be having some end of September, early October travel opportunities. Mercury in the 7th could be traveling to see a client, traveling with or because of, or connection to a significant love partner. You've been working a lot here with Mercury in your house of significant partners in business and love, all through August, September, to communicate better and to enjoy each other's communication better and to work on communication better. I do think that now that Mercury after September 15th is direct, and there's going to be a trine to lucky Jupiter in the 3rd house of travel, Uranus unexpected, an unexpected travel opportunity emerging at the end of September, early October, with you and a business or love or client type relationship. If you're anybody who has your IC in the 3rd house, some of you do floating there. This also can be a real estate contract deal or negotiation happening at the end of September and early October. IC floats in whole sign houses, and it's not a boundary border. So, people can have their floating route where they live, their IC, in houses 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for goodness sakes. Yes. Okay. Thanks for listening. If you're still watching the live premiere, check out my Sky Reader course starting the 3rd week of September. 4th time I've taught it, maybe the last, I really don't know, but at least it's the 4th time. Getting better every time. 6 weeks, study, be your own astrologer, time your best life. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and all of the jazz, and check out my Patreon community, please. You'll like joining me there. $5 a month, ad-free early access, but holy, up to 3 meetings a month with me. And for trying me out, I'm giving you a gift. This expires at the end of September. 2023 All Signs videos, my Chiron Key to Your Purpose, and my Are You My Person Synastry class replays for free. The value of all of that is $80. All right. So it really is. It's for sale for those prices. Okay. Join me at Patreon. Give me a try. See if you like it. I'm now going to go make my martini. Oh my God. I can't wait. My favorite gin, for those of you who are Scottish, is the Botanist. For if LA Taylor made it this long or misbehaving, I prefer it over Hendrix any day. And then I have a bunch of other favorites too, but that's one of my most favorite. All right, guys, you were amazing to talk to virtually. I'm hoping that you enjoyed the premiere with me, and hopefully this is indeed airing on the 29th of the month of August. In the worst case, it will be the 30th. Ciao, everyone.